10 years ago tonight, we started an interesting new concept, a new show devoted strictly to sports, hence the name Strictly Sports. And tonight, in addition to other things, we will share our favorite moments of the last 10 years of this program. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special edition of Strictly Sports. I am your host, Anthony Florio, and I am joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. It's a very special night this evening because it was 10 years ago tonight we did our very first Strictly Sports broadcast. It was over on Ustream.tv, along with the gentleman who first started this show. And our very first show, we previewed Super Bowl 46. That year, it was the New York Giants and the New England Patriots. Our newest Super Bowl preview will be next week. But tonight, in our main event, we will look back on all of our favorite standout moments and segments in the 10-year history of this program. But before we get into that, we have some other things that need to be addressed here this evening. First and foremost, two big retirements. Of course, one bigger than the other, but they're both big nonetheless. We will address Tom Brady's retirement, Ben Roethlisberger's retirement. We will also address the coaching carousel in the NFL. We'll look into the NHL All-Star festivities coming up tomorrow and this weekend. And then we'll recap the conference championships and give our early thoughts on Super Bowl 56. And then we'll have our 10-year retrospective of this show here tonight and the Wrestling Forum as well. So with that being said, let's dive right on in. And you know where we have to start. It was announced this week that Tom Brady officially announced his retirement from the NFL. I'm going to set it up, and we're going to do things a little bit differently. Before we get into that, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady officially announced his retirement from the NFL on Tuesday in an Instagram post that he is, quote-unquote, not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. He said, "I have always believed the sport of football is an all-in proposition. If a 100% competitive commitment isn't there, you won't succeed, and success is what I love so much about our game. There is a physical, mental, and emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential. And I have tried my very best these past 22 years. There are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it is time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. I've done a lot of reflecting the past week and have asked myself difficult questions, and I am so proud of what we have achieved. My teammates, coaches, fellow competitors, and fans deserve 100% of me. But right now, it's best I leave the field of play to the next generation of dedicated and committed athletes." I can't do this justice. Good old MF Michael Fletcher cannot do this justice. Only one man can do this justice. And he's going to start it off right here and right now. And that is Michael Bullock. Come on in. And there you go, folks. You want to talk about a super fan? A diehard fan? Look no further than that right there. I've always joked that he should have an Undertaker man cave, but I think he needs a Tom Brady one as well, or a Patriots one, for all I know. But anyways, Michael Bullock, you know this man a lot better than myself and MF do. I mean, me as a Buffalo Bills fan, MF as a Miami Dolphin fan, but you, with the New England Patriots, all those AFC East championships, all those AFC championships, 6 Super Bowls. You know him better than the back of our hands combined. So there's only one man who can do it justice. That's LU. So without that being said, Michael Bullock, it's all yours, babe.
Thank you very much, Anthony Florio. Yeah, this is something that we all figured that this was going to happen someday. That the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, was going to announce his retirement. At first, it looked like it was going to be over the weekend, but a lot of things happened, and then, well, he finally made it official on Tuesday. And I mean, what can you say? I mean, this man, he went as the 6th round, 199th pick in the 2000 draft. And people thought that people didn't know what to make of him. And then all of a sudden, he gets inserted in when, I guess we could say, when Drew Bledsoe, when he got hurt. And out comes Tom Brady. And the rest, as they say, was history. All he's done is become, to me, the greatest quarterback in the history of this great game. I mean, you said it. I mean, all the great accolades that this man has done. A 7-time Super Bowl champion, 6 with the New England Patriots, and 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A 5-time Super Bowl MVP. Of course, 4 of them with the Patriots, 1 of them with the Bucs. A 3-time NFL MVP, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, a 3-time First Team All-Pro, 3-time Second Team All-Pro, 15-time Pro Bowler. 5 times he was the NFL passing touchdowns leader, including this season. 4-time passing yards leader, including this season. He was a member of the All Decades team in the 2000s. I mean, so many different great accomplishments from this great individual. I mean, a lot of great things that this man accomplished, and of course, a lot of things stand out to me when it comes to this great career. Of course, the first Super Bowl championship where the New England Patriots, they were 14-point underdogs against the St. Louis Rams. And then we all remember that he took the team down the field to set up the Adam Vinatieri game-winning field goal. Wins the MVP. But of course, one of the other things I'll always remember, the comeback. When the Patriots were down 28-3 and brought this team back and completed the comeback in the first ever overtime in the history of the Super Bowl. And they went to another Super Bowl and lost to the Eagles, and then people thought that this was it. But he came back, won another Super Bowl, and then they get to the wild card game the following year, and people wondered if this was going to be his last game as a member of the New England Patriots. And it turned out it was. He signed a deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, goes on and wins a Super Bowl title over there. And it looked like they were going to go on another run, and they ended up losing to the LA Rams. So, and it was that time when he didn't even say that he was coming back. And I was thinking, was this going to be it? And it turns out it was. I mean, I think I speak not just Patriot fans, but NFL fans in general, for what we saw during these past 22 years. What this man was able to do, all the great accomplishments that he did. And even your team, Florio, and your team, Fletch, I know how much you guys got burned by Brady, of course, so many times when he was with our team, but you had to respect everything that he did. And he did it his way. And what he's done, not just on the field, but off the field as well, especially with those with Down syndrome. I mean, that makes me respect them even more. And all I can say is that on behalf of all of us here, especially on behalf of the members of Patriot Nation, I just want to say to Tom Brady, as Anthony Florio would always say, thank you for the memories, thank you for the inspiration, and thank you for Tom Brady. Next stop for you, my friend, is Canton, Ohio. Canton, Ohio will be waiting for you, and most certainly, right up the road in Foxborough, you will be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. Congratulations to you. Enjoy retirement. Enjoy being with your blessed family. And most of all, enjoy everything that you have now. I love you, Tom. All the best to you in your retirement. Thank you. God bless you. And there will never, ever be another Tom Brady. Right off into the sunset, my friend. And you, by golly, you deserve this. So, there's really nothing more for me to say. Florio, I give it to you, my friend.
Very well said, Bullock. Very well said. I mean, no one could have done that justice. I don't know how in the world I'm going to follow that, but I'm going to do my absolute best. Brady, widely considered the greatest quarterback in NFL history, won 7 Lombardi trophies, the most championships won by a single player, along with 5 Super Bowl MVPs. He rewrote much of the NFL record book with personal and team accomplishments, piled up career records such as most touchdown passes, 624, and most passing yards, 84,250 in his 22 seasons, of which 20 were with Bullock's New England Patriots. Brady, who led the Bucs to a Super Bowl title last season and an NFC South Division championship this year, had been adamant for weeks that he never wanted a quote-unquote farewell season, sources told ESPN. And Buccaneers executives and coaches have been bracing for Brady's retirement in recent weeks, recognizing that it was more likely than not that he would hang it up after the season. And in his announcement, Brady thanked everyone with the Bucs, his business partners, his agents, and his family. While he reflected on his career, he did not specifically mention his time with the Patriots or anybody within the organization in his statement, though he did later thank the team and its fans in response to a statement issued by Patriots owner Robert Kraft. You didn't have to be a Patriots fan to respect and appreciate his competitiveness, determination, and will to win that fueled his success. As a fan of football, it was a privilege to watch. And for Michael Bullock and his fellow members of Patriot Nation, it was a dream come true. And it really started on Saturday when sources said that he had chosen to retire, but Brady's family and the Bucs had said that a final decision had not been reached. On Monday, Brady said on his Let's Go podcast that he wasn't ready to finalize his plans.
We're bundling your home and auto.
Excuse me 1 minute.
Up to 25%. Home plus auto equals.
I can't get out of this, so
savings. That.
Oh, no, I can't. All right. Lost my train of thought. Thanks to that pop-up video. Okay. After 20 seasons with New England that had already cemented his legacy, Brady joined the Bucs in March of 2020 and immediately added another chapter to his story with a 7th Super Bowl title, the first won by a team in its own stadium. And overall, Brady finishes with a 243-73 regular season record and 35-12 in the playoffs, 3 MVP awards, selected to 15 Pro Bowls. As Bullock mentioned, he went from the 199th pick in the 2000 draft to replacing an injured Drew Bledsoe in 2001 and leading New England to a Super Bowl victory over the heavily favored St. Louis Rams that season. Brady led the Patriots to consecutive Super Bowl titles following the 03 and 04 seasons. No team has since repeated as champions. But New England wouldn't win another one for a decade, twice losing to the New York Giants in the Super Bowl, including a 17-14 defeat 14 years ago tonight on February 3rd, 2008, that prevented the Patriots from completing a perfect season. Brady earned his 4th ring after the 2014 season. 2 years later, in the biggest Super Bowl comeback, he led the Patriots out of a 28-3 deficit in the third quarter against the Atlanta Falcons to win in overtime for number 5. Brady got his 6th championship when New England beat the LA Rams following the 2018 season. And it was 3 years ago tonight that myself, Michael Bullock, and our dear friends, Mike and Brian Keenan and Mike Silvera, we had a nice little get-together at his place. Special night there. I remember that very well. He reached the playoffs 19 times, won 18 division titles, went 10-4 in conference championships, and 7-3 in Super Bowls. After starting his first game on September 30th, 2001, Brady was under center for every game except when he suffered a season-ending knee injury in Week 1 in 2008 and the first 4 games in 2016 when he sat out a suspension because of the infamous Deflategate scandal. Known for his work ethic, intense exercise regimen, and strict diet, Brady was better with age. After turning 37, Brady won 4 Super Bowls and was 17-4 in the playoffs, 95-30, completed 65.2% of his passes for 35,371 yards, 265 touchdowns, 69 interceptions, and a passer rating of 100.2 in the regular season in those 8 seasons. Roger Goodell, in a statement, said Tom Brady will be remembered as one of the greatest to ever play in the NFL. An incredible competitor and leader, his stellar career is remarkable for its longevity, but also for the sustained excellence he displayed year after year. Tom made everyone around him better and always seemed to rise to the occasion in the biggest moments. He inspired fans in New England, Tampa, and around the world with one of the greatest careers in NFL history. It has been a privilege to watch him compete and have him in the NFL. We thank him for his many contributions to our game and wish Tom and his family all the best in the future. Now, I'm going to level with you. As a Buffalo Bills fan, I honestly, I was not honestly thrilled about how Brady owned the Buffalo Bills in his career. 32-3 in New England. He ripped Buffalo's hearts out back in December. That gut-wrenching overtime loss after Buffalo had battled back just to get to overtime in that game. And, from that that's the only thing about him I didn't like. That he owned my team and, and that contributed to Buffalo's, all those hard times in Buffalo. And I always kept saying to myself, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? When is this going to end? No disrespect, Bullock, but I kept saying to myself, when is this going to end? It has to end sometime. It has to. And then last year, it finally did. And look where Buffalo is now. We literally have a changing of the guard in the AFC East, with Buffalo now being, the dominant team now. So, and I'm very excited about that future. But when it comes to everything else, Buffalo stuff aside, he was fun to watch. And I'll be honest, I even have a little bit of Tom Brady in my everyday life. You know, I have the work ethic that he has. You know, I'm a family man, and you know, I want to be, you know, just like him in a sense that, you know, I want to be, you know, the best family man I could be, the best friend I could be, brother, the whole 9 yards. And I always love the let's go. I always love when he does the let's go. I mean, that actually does motivate me, and it really does. And two New England moments stood out for me when it comes to Tom Brady as a Patriot. And Bullock, you should know, I talked to you about this during one of our chats. Or I think it might have been the day when you called me up and we made it official. And I think it was the other day you called me up and, you know, letting me know what had happened here. And you already know about one of them. Super Bowl 49. Malcolm Butler makes that infamous interception where he's jumping around like a little kid at Christmas. That one always stood out to me. But the other one, and it was a chant that stuck with me. I used it. I once did it in my church, believe it or not. And I also did it, and me, Bullock, the Keenans, and Silvera.
We're still here.
You damn right. We're still here. And I'm surprised Bullock didn't mention the fact that he went to a training camp in 2009, I believe it was, Bullock, and you got his autograph. So
yeah, it was 2009. My mom, my sister, my aunt Debbie, and Tori, we went to training camp in 2009, and we were waiting to see who was coming down the line to sign autographs, and I literally couldn't believe my eyes that it was Tom Brady who was coming down the line, and he signed my Patriots yearbook, and he signed one of my Tom Brady jerseys.
Hold on to those, brother. Those are collector's items right there.
Oh, you better believe it. I'm going to hold on to it.
Yep. And let me tell you something about Bullock as well. He loves this guy so much that when he left Tampa Bay, when he left New England to go to Tampa, he bought a Bucs jersey. That's how much Tom Brady meant to him, and will forever mean to him.
Exactly. And the thing I've always said is, like, how can you not root against this guy after what he did for my team for 20 years?
Yeah, I mean,
and like you said, Florio, I even went as far as to get a Tom Brady Bucs jersey
last year when they went to the Super Bowl. So, So I believe it was 17 AFC East Division championships, and I want to say 9 AFC championships, and 6 Super Bowls for the Patriots in those 20 years. And yeah, you're never going to see a run like that ever again. I don't think so. But then again, you never know. You know, Kansas City's been going on this run lately. You know, Buffalo is right there. So who knows? But but we already know what the future is in New England. You know, Mac Jones and all those guys. Question now is, what does the future hold for Tampa? I mean, what are they going to do now that they lost Tom Brady? So that's something we're going to have to think about. But yeah, when he jumped around like a little kid at Christmas on Super Bowl 49 after Malcolm Butler made the interception, and the we're still here when during that rally, and 3 years ago tonight, me, Bullock, the Keenans, and Mike Silvera, when we gathered at his house for Super Bowl 53, as the Patriots were closing in on, we're sensing victory. Michael Bullock let us in it. We did the we're still here, and that was one of many things about that night that I will forever hold to near and dear to my heart for as long as I live. And and I hope and pray we can have another night like that again very soon. But for right now, Bullock said it best. As I always say, we usually say that after, to acknowledge a passing of someone, but we also do it for retirement as well. And I'm not going to touch what Bullock said because that's a Bullock thing. That's not a me thing. But it was an honor to watch him. MF and I had the pleasure of calling so many of his games, regular season and postseason. And when MF and I first started doing this, we primarily focused on the AFC East. We did whatever the big game in the AFC East was, even if there were several games out there that were better than that. We finally branched out in 2006, but Brady would still come up a lot, and all the regular season games we did, all of the wild card games, divisional games, AFC championship games, Super Bowls. I mean, his greatest rival was Peyton Manning. We all know that. And all those Brady Manning games, MF and I will never forget. And whether it was New England against Indianapolis or New England against Denver, and heck, the guy we're going to be talking about in a little bit, Ben Roethlisberger, they had some legendary battles as well. New England and Pittsburgh. None greater than that game in December of 2017 when Daron Harmon had that interception that sealed the win for New England, and they never looked back after that. So although they did lose that Super Bowl to Philadelphia, but nonetheless, it was an honor and a pleasure to watch the game. The only thing I didn't like about him was the ownage of Buffalo. That's the only thing I did not like about him. And I know MF feels that same sentiment with Miami, but other than that, divisional rivalries aside, he was damn fun to watch, whether you liked him or not. So to Tom Brady, I wish you the very best in your retirement. Well deserved. And now we're really going to see a changing of the guard now. Because with all these veterans now walking away, it's now time for the younger talent to take over. Your Patrick Mahomes, your Josh Allens, your Justin Herberts, your Joe Burrows. Goes right on down the line. So best of luck to Tom and we wish him and his family the absolute best. Giselle, kids, Daddy's coming home for good. Enjoy it. So there isn't much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. How many games of his did we do? Regular season and post? Too many to count.
I'm probably thinking it has to be somewhere in the 40 or the 50 game range. I mean, that's how many games, because you're talking about dating back from 98 all the way to 2022 or 2021.
More like 2000 or 2001 to 2021.
Yeah. So you're talking about almost 20 years of his career that we followed.
Where you started as the lead and then I became the lead.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about literally. I mean, we were doing about maybe 7 or 8 games a year with Brady. Especially early on when we had those AFC only weeks. So I mean,
AFC East.
Yeah. So when you had that going, you had at least, I want to say at least half of the season we were doing Patriot games. So we had that. Then their run through the playoffs, almost 2 or 3 games we ended up doing. AFC Championship, Super Bowl, no matter what, it was a given. If they were there, we were going to recover it no matter what. So we were going to do that. But divisional wild cards, that was once in a rare while that once in a while we would do those games. But yeah, I mean, I kind of have to count at least maybe 50, maybe even more. I think we could have done maybe close to about 100 games
I
with
think more like
Brady.
150 to 200.
Yeah, I will. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, we could definitely. You got the ledger. You got the archive. You always have the sheet. So you just run it back. Check. That's all I would say about that. Um, Without a doubt. I mean, yes, I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. Yes, there's the rivalry between the Patriots and the Dolphins. Oh, by the way, out of all the teams that uh out of all the teams that gave Brady the most trouble, the Miami Dolphins can say that they gave Brady the biggest trouble of them all. 24 wins, all right. 12 losses. 12 losses Brady suffered against Miami in his entire career. And as a matter of fact, they are the only team that he's ever had double-digit losses in his career. The most losses ever than any other team. So, I mean, that's impressive for what he's done. And look, he beat all 32 teams, including New England. That's I think maybe one or two other quarterbacks has ever done that in their entire career to be all 32. Then the yardage, the touchdowns, the wins, the Super Bowls, the MVPs, the Super Bowl MVPs on that as well. Most playoff wins, most playoff completions, most playoff yards. Best record for a quarterback in the playoff era. I mean, without a doubt, all the accolades that Brady did, he did it his way. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, some of it could be tainted because of some cheating scandals that came out. But look, regardless of what it may be, Brady's proven himself that he was always great. He knew the moments was tough. He always had a brilliant comeback, and you never, ever, ever counted him out. You never did. At the end of the day, that was what Brady was. Brady knew when the going got tough, when the moment came up, he always had the clutch gene in the car. He knew that he doesn't drive automatic. He has the clutch in the car, and he always was that guy. So Brady, without a doubt, is by far the greatest NFL player of all time. There's no debate. There's no debate. Now the question becomes, is he the greatest athlete of all time? Is he in that same breath of Babe Ruth? Is he in the same breath of Muhammad Ali? Is he in the same breath of a Michael Jordan or a Wayne Gretzky? Is he going to be one of those type of guys in rarefied air? That's a debate for another day. And I think that's going to be a very interesting debate to have down the line. But his legacy is etched. What he did on the field and the way he played the game, there's no doubt we will see him in Canton 5 years from now in 2027 as the newest member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think the biggest question or the biggest debate is he going to be a unanimous vote? Will all 32 give Brady the accolades that he deserves? Because remember, they're stingy when it comes to Pro Football Hall of Fame because You need 24 out of those 32 to say yes. You know he'll get at least, I would not be shocked if he does not, I would actually say, honestly and truthfully, I think he'll get 31 out of the 32. Because there's going to be one disgruntled guy out of nowhere who's got an axe to grind against Brady, just like how Hennessy had an axe to grind against David Ortiz and didn't vote for him in the Baseball Hall of Fame, which I thought was an absolute outcry. But I think Brady will definitely be in the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it. Many will call him the greatest football player of our time, and I cannot disagree with that. I think what he did for the league was revolutionary. And like you said, Anthony, it's almost an end of an era because of the great quarterbacks that we have. And we're going to get into another quarterback in just a matter of minutes who also said goodbye. And he was in that same level as Brady. He was in that same class as Brady. He was in the same realm as Brady when it comes to success. Maybe not as big as Brady had, but he is well respected and well loved. So I think a lot of people may believe that it was a damn shame that the thing with the Patriots did not work out and that he ended up going to another team. But the thing is, sometimes some of the greatest does end up on another squad. Remember, Joe Montana. Everybody thought he was going to be a 49er for life, and he ended up going to Kansas City. And he had some success. Favre, he jumped to 2 teams after his glory days with Green Bay. There's not that many guys that can ultimately say that I ended my career with 1 team. John Elway did. He was fortunate. Dan Marino, fortunate. Terry Bradshaw, fortunate. It really depends on how the league is designed and how it goes and how it's played, and from one year to another. And to do this for 22 years, that's remarkable, man. And that's a testament to him. That's a testament to his willpower, what he wants to do. So yeah, I may be a Miami Dolphin fan, but I got some respect for Tom Brady. I do. I got a lot of respect for him for what he did. And I wish him nothing but the best in his retirement. So, Anthony Florio, let's move on. It's yours, man.
All right. From one legendary quarterback to another. After 18 seasons as the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger announced his retirement 1 week ago. In a video posted to his Twitter account, Roethlisberger announced what became obvious over the final weeks of the 2021 season. The journey has been exhilarating, fueled by a spirit of competition, he said. Yet the time has come to clean out my locker, hang up my cleats, and continue to be all I can be to my wife and children. I retire from football a truly grateful man. In a statement, Steelers president Art Rooney II said, "We are forever grateful for all the success he has helped bring to the organization for the past 18 years. Ben will always be viewed as one of the all-time greats in our team history, and his determination, toughness, and competitiveness will be remembered by everyone in the organization as well as Steeler Nation throughout the world." Roethlisberger finished a likely Hall of Fame career with 2 Super Bowl wins, Rookie of the Year honors, and the 5th most passing yards in NFL history, 64,088. Steelers coach Bill Cowher, in a video statement, said, "When I think about you, you identify and you represent everything a Pittsburgh Steeler is. You played with grit, determination, and a degree of toughness. I congratulate you on a job well done, and without a doubt, I will see you in Canton. Kudos." The Pro Football Hall of Fame announced that Roethlisberger will be eligible for selection in 2027. And we'd have to imagine that same probably goes for Brady too. He says, I've been here a long time and it's been a lot of fun. After his final game, the wild card loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, God has blessed me. We talk a lot about the Cleveland Browns and going in there, but it was meant to be that I was going to wear black and gold. Draft day, I had a black suit with a gold tie. I'm just so thankful. I hope that I'm able to pass the legacy of what it is to be a Steeler from Dan Rooney. So hopefully I can pass some of that on to some of the guys that can continue the tradition of what it means to be a Steeler and get passed down. Drafted by the franchise 11th overall in 2004, Roethlisberger took over the starting job for an injured Tommy Maddox against the Ravens in week 2 of his rookie season. He led the Steelers to a 15-1 regular season record before losing to Bullock's New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Roethlisberger won his first Super Bowl a year later against the Seattle Seahawks. He won another 3 years later, defeating the Arizona Cardinals in Super Bowl 43 on his game-winning touchdown throw to Santonio Holmes with 35 seconds left. He finished his career with a franchise record 165 regular season wins, 5th most in NFL history. Also earned a 670 regular season winning percentage as a starting quarterback, 2nd highest in franchise history and 6th highest in NFL history. For all the highs of Roethlisberger's 18-year tenure as the Steelers starting quarterback, there were also significant lows, which we're not going to address. In 2019, Roethlisberger suffered a season-ending elbow injury in week 2. He underwent surgery to reattach 3 torn flexor tendons in his right elbow, but he made a full recovery and returned by training camp the next season. His retirement announcement is hardly a surprise. He signed a 1-year extension following the 2020 season to lower his salary and cap hit and return for one more shot at a 3rd Super Bowl championship. His final season didn't reach the high he had hoped, but the Steelers managed to sneak into the playoffs despite a 1-3 start and a 3-game winless streak in the middle of the season. He threw for 3,740 yards and 22 touchdowns with 10 interceptions in his final season. In the final weeks of the season, Roethlisberger announced that all signs were pointing toward the Week 17 game against the Cleveland Browns being his final home game. After beating the Browns, a teary-eyed Roethlisberger lingered on the field and ran around part of the stadium, high-fiving fans before walking up the tunnel arm in arm with his wife and 3 kids. Roethlisberger's official retirement announcement was understated, a window into his post-retirement life. After the fanfare of his final games, Roethlisberger now turns his focus to his family. And we wish him all the absolute best. And, to run it down, 2-time Super Bowl champion in 40 and 43, 2004 NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time passing yards leader, PFWA All-Rookie Team, the MAC Most Valuable Player and Offensive Player of the Year in 03, MAC Freshman of the Year in 01. His Miami Redhawks number 7 jersey was retired. He has 4 career 500-yard passing games, an NFL record, 4 career perfect passer rating games, and most completions in a regular or postseason game with 47. He threw 418 career touchdowns, 211 interceptions, 64,088 yards, a passer rating of 93.5, and a completion percentage of 64.4. So, on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports, congratulations, Ben Roethlisberger. We wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement. There's no question about it. Just like with Tom Brady, we will definitely see you in Canton, and that's really all there is to say on that. So, MF, here's another guy who we did several games of. I mean, him and Brady. I mean, they had some legendary battles, like we said, in the regular season. I think I recall a division. I think they met in a divisional game or so. Definitely remember some AFC Championship games, at least 2 or 3. My recollection, but we had a lot of fun calling Brady games. Hey man, we had just as much fun calling Roethlisberger games, especially those against the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, without a doubt. Those were the greatest battles of them all. Anytime he went up against the Ravens, look out, guys. It was going to be an interesting night. Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger was without a doubt. He had his demons too. He had his demons as well. He was a great player, but like you said, Anthony, he did have some off the field issues. Some people thought he was a little rambunctious and whatnot when he started. But look, he came out of nowhere uncertain about his future. Nobody really knew what was going to happen with Ben Roethlisberger. Remember, he was caught in the net of the drama that was going on between Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and that draft day. You remember this very well. A lot of people thought that a lot of people actually thought that Ben Roethlisberger was going to be a New York Giant. Remember that? A lot of people thought he was going to be heading to New York and becoming a Giant because they thought, all right, Eli will most likely go to San Diego, even though he didn't want to go to San Diego. Eli was going to go to San Diego. We didn't know where Phillip Rivers was going to go. Maybe he falls to Pittsburgh. And Ben was going to New York at number 10. Lo and behold, New York drafted Phillip Rivers out of nowhere and then commenced trade. That happened. Phillip Rivers goes to San Diego. Eli goes to New York. And Ben got left in the dust. And nobody knew where Ben was going to go. Lo and behold, Ben Roethlisberger gets drafted by Pittsburgh. And I think we can all say Pittsburgh is kind of thankful that trade happened and that Big Ben did not go to the New York Giants on that afternoon. So Ben has become the consummate professional, one of those great lineage quarterbacks, just like Terry Bradshaw was way back in the day. And look, him and his partnership and friendship that he had with Bill Cowher was great. But I think we can both agree the best years of Ben Roethlisberger was the years that he had with Mike Tomlin. When Tomlin became the head coach, Ben thrived and he became that superstar, that Hall of Famer that we all knew. And without a doubt, Ben Roethlisberger had some iconic moments in his career, but I think the biggest iconic moment, Anthony, you know where I'm going. Super Bowl 43, the Santonio Holmes touchdown that clinched the Super Bowl for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that gave them the 6th title in their illustrious career.
You remember the call, Roethlisberger looking, and then I scream like Gus Johnson, fires for the end zone, and then you scream, touchdown.
Yep.
And then I yelled out, touchdown, Pittsburgh, Santonio Holmes. Yep. And then you did the John Madden, unbelievable. And I said, holy cow, are you kidding?
Yep.
Never forget it.
Never forget. And that's one of those moments that we'll talk about here tonight when we do our retrospective of the 10 years of Strictly Sports. Without a doubt, these are great nights. He is without a doubt one of the most recognizable quarterbacks. He's also a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's definitely going to be in it. No doubts in my mind. You already got 2 guys for the 2027 class, like absolute shoo-ins to be Hall of Famers. So yeah, I really got nothing more to add. I mean, thank you, Ben. That's all I can say. He's a steelworker guy, hard-nosed, blue-collar, just like the people of Pittsburgh. That's why they loved Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger was a lunch pail type guy. Brought his lunch pail, worked his butt off, did what he needed it to do, did it the right way. Yeah, he had himself some trouble there a few years. There's a couple of times where he got himself in trouble, but he still knew how to play through the injuries, through everything that he did. He is a recognizable figure, and for a lot of people, I know there's probably not that love in Baltimore, in Cleveland, in Cincinnati, but trust me, he is well respected and well loved by everybody in the NFL, and we wish him nothing but the best in his retirement as well. So, congrats, Ben. Good luck in whatever you do with your life, and yeah, Mike Bullock is yours, man.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I mean, another quarterback who was definitely at his best, and Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, we didn't know what to expect of him when first Bill Cowher named him the starter, and he really had one heck of a rookie season. Well, except for that AFC title game against the Patriots. And then, like you said, he would go on to win his first Super Bowl the following year. But like you said, when Mike Tomlin arrived, he really did thrive. Of course, winning another Super Bowl title in Super Bowl 43, and basically leading the team to another Super Bowl during the 2010 season. Of course, losing to the Green Bay Packers, and yeah, his leadership was definitely was what made Pittsburgh what it was during that time. And yeah, so you pretty much said everything. So congratulations to Ben Roethlisberger. Enjoy your retirement. And yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So Florio, let's move right along.
And we move on to the NFL Coaching Carousel, and it's a bumpy ride. That's all I'm saying right here and right now. I mean, so many things been going on over the last few weeks or so, and all right, so with that being said, take a look at what we have for right now. Of course, we have the first two hires in late January. The Denver Broncos have a new head coach. His name is Nathaniel. Well, here we go. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a new head coach. He is Doug Peterson. The Las Vegas Raiders have their new head coach. His name is Josh McDaniels. The New York Giants, and this one's going to hurt me because they hired the offensive coordinator, the architect of my Buffalo Bills offense over the last couple of years, Brian Daboll, now the new head coach of the New York Giants. Nathaniel Hackett is now the new head coach of the Denver Broncos. Matt Eberflus, who served as the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts, he's now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And currently open as of now, the New Orleans Saints job, Sean Payton, he stepped away. Mike Zimmer is out in Minnesota. So they're Kevin O'Connell, I heard, is the name that might be going there. The Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores was fired, and of course, there's a lot going on with him right now. That go see that other guy's video. He's done several videos about this because we're not going to get into that. David Coley was fired after 1 year with the Houston Texans, and that's pretty much it. So so those are all that's on the tracker right now. So we'll update you if anything else comes in down the line on future shows. But for right now, MF, you heard the names, you heard the new teams. Any stand out to you?
Right now, I kind of feel like I'm waiting for some of the bigger ones. Actually, we can add yet another name to that list, Anthony. I can break this here tonight for all you guys. I think we remember. I think we remember this, Anthony. You remember some guy named Peterson, who used to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles?
I mentioned Doug Peterson in Jacksonville.
Yeah, so I think that's the big one. I think that's the biggest one right now. To see him go to Jacksonville, of course, off of total debacle of Urban Meyer and his days as the coach of Jacksonville. I think you bring stability. You bring a guy who has Super Bowl qualities to Jacksonville, and that's something that they sorely are lacking over there. So I think that's a great hire for them. A lot of the other guys I haven't really know. Yeah, I don't really know much about. Brian Dable going to the New York Giants, I think, was a head scratcher and a little bit of a surprise. But again, if you're looking for like that big name or like a recognizable name in the head coaching ranks, we haven't gotten it yet, guys. So I don't know. Of course, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. There are still a few teams out there. I think there's 4 teams right now that are looking for head coaches. Um, and we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Nothing more to say. So, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, we've had a lot of coaching changes going around. I mean, like you said, with Brian Dable going to the Giants. I mean, I'm interested to see how he's going to make that. He's going to fix that offense. And of course, now knowing Doug Peterson going to the Jags. Yeah, and I'm interested to see how he's going to do with Trevor Lawrence down there. Yeah, I mean, so many other names. Obviously, Kevin O'Connell looks like he's going to be going to Minnesota. I mean, a lot of big time names. I mean, yeah, there are still some voids that are still out there. Obviously, with New Orleans, with the Miami Dolphins. I mean, so many names. So it's going to be interesting to see how the remainder of this offseason goes. So, Florio, it is yours.
Indeed. Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia, is now the new head coach of Jacksonville. Hiring ends a search that began 49 days after the team fired Urban Meyer and 35 days after he first interviewed with them. Peterson went 42, 31, and 1 and made 3 playoff appearances in 5 years in Philadelphia, including a Super Bowl championship. Peterson spent the 2021 season out of football, but he was the first candidate the Jaguars interviewed, and that was on December 30th, as I recall. And that was on December 30th, and the Jaguars brought him back for a second interview just the other day. Well, 2 of these hirings affected my team and Bullock's team. Both of our offensive coordinators. Bullock's guy, Josh McDaniels, is now the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. He was introduced on Monday. They announced Sunday that they hired former Patriots personnel executive Dave Ziegler as the GM. Interim head coach Rich Bisaccia had been promoted from special teams coordinator upon the resignation of John Gruden. First time in Bisaccia's coaching career, which began in 1983, that he was a head coach at any level. And former GM Mike Mayock was fired when the season was over. The Giants, this one hurts me because my guy, Brian Dable, he was announced last Friday. Dable guided top 5 offenses in Buffalo each of the last 2 years, credited with spearheading the development of JA-17, Josh Allen, from an erratic, big-armed quarterback into one of the game's brightest young stars. Giants also hired Bills assistant GM Joe Schoen as their new GM. The connection between Schoen and Daboll from Buffalo made this an almost expected hire. Daboll was considered the favorite for the job from the moment Schoen was hired. The Giants fired coach Joe Judge after 2 losing seasons with the team. Move came a day after GM David Gettleman retired after 4 years on the job. Judge, a first-time head coach, was 10-23 in his 2 years. Third consecutive Giant coach to be fired after 2 seasons or less, following Ben McAdoo, who was 13-15, and Pat Shurmur, who was 9-23, as the once proud franchise stumbles through one of the worst 10-year stretches in its history. The Broncos agreed to terms with Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett to be their head coach, the team announced. Hackett worked with quarterbacks at all phases on the developmental curve, scheduled to interview with Jacksonville, but the Broncos stepped in the night before to get a deal done that prevented him from going to Jacksonville. Hackett's first time as it'll be Hackett's first time as a head coach as well. And he becomes the team's fourth different coach since the start of the 2016 season. Of all the offensive assistants interviewed by the Broncos, Hackett had the deepest resume as a former play caller for Buffalo and Jacksonville. Before his time with the Packers, he replaces Vic Fangio, who was fired this month after going 7-10 this season, the team's fifth consecutive losing season. And the Chicago Bears hired Indianapolis Colts defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus as their head coach. He will join new general manager Ryan Poles in taking over a Chicago Bear team that went 6-11 in 2021 under Matt Nagy and has missed the playoffs in 9 of the last 11 years. Eberflus had spent the past 4 seasons as the Colts defensive coordinator under their head coach Frank Reich. His defenses finished in the top 10 in scoring 3 times, including being tied for 9th in 2021 at 21.5 points a game. But we're waiting on who will take over for Sean Payton with the New Orleans Saints. Apparently, the Minnesota Vikings are leaning towards Kevin O'Connell to be their new coach. The Miami Dolphins looking for a new man after Brian Flores was fired. And same thing with Houston after they fired David Culley. And that's pretty much all there is to say on that. So we wish everybody the best of luck in their new positions. And I know Bullock. I know how saddened Bullock is with the loss of McDaniels, but I know Bullock wishes him the best in Vegas. Whereas I'm brokenhearted about Brian Daboll leaving, but he's going to the Giants, and if anybody can turn that mess around, I think he's the guy who can do it, especially with his brilliant offensive mind. I mean, look at the wonders that he did for JA-17. I mean, JA-17 wouldn't be who he is today if not for Brian Daboll. There is no question about that. And I'm hopeful that with the new OC that we have, hopefully he'll continue his. Hopefully we can still keep our momentum going. So and be one of the favorites next year. But anyways, that's really all there is to say on that. So All-Star Weekend in the NHL coming up this weekend at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it will start tomorrow night with the skills competition. And you guys know how much I love the skills competition. And it'll begin tomorrow night at 7:30 on ESPN. And 2 new events. What's called the Fountain Face-Off. It will literally happen on the fountains of the Bellagio. 8 participants will travel by boat to a quote-unquote rink set up in the fountain where they will shoot 5 pucks as quickly as possible at 5 targets. Qualifying players will advance to the final where a breeze of fountain spray is set to swirl and make things extra difficult for the competitors. And an added bonus, this event will feature 3-time Olympic medalist Jocelyn Lamoureux Davidson as one of the shooters. And the field is Jordan Eberle of the Seattle Kraken, Claude Giroux of the Philadelphia Flyers, Jonathan Huberdeau of the Florida Panthers, Roman Josi of the Nashville Predators. I already mentioned Jocelyn Lamoureux Davidson, Mark Stone of the hometown Vegas Golden Knights, Nick Suzuki of the Montreal Canadiens, and Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Another new event is called 21 and 22, from the fountains to the strip, because who wouldn't want to play street hockey on Las Vegas Boulevard, especially when there's a blackjack theme? 5 participants will face a full deck of oversized cards set up in a rack formation. The shooter's objective, just like on the blackjack tables, will be to reach 21 without going over and do it in the fewest number of shots. Each round is won by the first player to nail 21, or whoever has the highest hand. First player to win 2 rounds takes the pot. Participating in that will be Nazem Kadri of the Colorado Avalanche, Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Joe Pavelski of the Dallas Stars, Steven Stamkos of your back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning, and Brady Tkachuk of the Ottawa Senators. Of course, the fastest skater returns, and MF and I know this very well. It's a classic. 8 players will take one and only one timed lap around T-Mobile Arena, and each participant can choose what direction to skate in. From a standing start that's no more than 3 feet behind the designated line, skaters take off on the ref's whistle. Fastest time wins. The latest hold on, that damn video. The last winner of this event was New York Islanders forward Matthew Barzal, who was not selected to All-Star Weekend this time around, so a new champion will be crowned. Past winners in this year's field are Connor McDavid, three-peater from 17 to 19, and Dylan Larkin from 16. In the field, we have Kyle Connor of the Winnipeg Jets, Adrian Kemp of the Los Angeles Kings. Here you go, MF, our boy, Chris Kreider of the New York Rangers, Evgeny Kuznetsov of the Washington Capitals, Jordan Kyrou of the St. Louis Blues, Dylan Larkin of the Detroit Red Wings, Kale Makar.
So you ran.
And then from there, Kale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche, and of course Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers. Save streak, where everyone gets involved. 4 goalies versus 36 players. Each netminder will face every shooter from an opposing division. Players will fire on net in numerical order, lowest to highest, with the division captain going first, or I should say division captain going last, rather. If the goalie saves the captain's shot, then he continues to face pucks until a goal is scored. Round must end on a goal, not a save. The goalie who produces the longest streak of saves is the winner. If there's a tie in streak length, the winner will be decided by number of saves made. And if another tiebreaker is needed, we get sudden death goalie goals, which sounds rather entertaining. Frederick Anderson of the Carolina Hurricanes, Jack Campbell of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Thatcher Demko of the Vancouver Canucks, John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks, Tristan Jarry of the Pittsburgh Penguins, UC Saros of the Nashville Predators, Cam Talbot of the Minnesota Wild, and Andrei Vasilevsky of your back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. And what about the hardest shot? This one brings the heat. We're talking 100 miles an hour fire here. At least 4 players will line up along the nearest blue line behind a puck situated 30 feet from the center of the goal. Competitors skate ahead and give the vulcanized rubber the biggest whack it's ever felt. While the radar gun tracks its progress, each player gets 2 attempts, and shots must be on goal to count. If a player breaks his stick on a shot, he gets another shot at it. Whoever has the highest mark on the radar gun wins. Zdeno Chara owned this event, reaching a record speed of 108.8 miles an hour during his 5-year reign as hardest shot champion from 07 to 12. Shea Weber currently holds the crown from a 106.5 mile an hour shot in 2020, 3-time champ from 15 to 17. The only other winners since 06, Alexander Ovechkin in 18 and John Carlson in 19. In the field, we have Victor Hedman of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Timo Meyer of the San Jose Sharks, Adam Pelech of the New York Islanders, and Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals. And we also have the Breakaway Challenge. First time since 2016, and the NHL is going all out with its return as a trick shot competition. Anaheim Ducks rookie phenom Trevor Zegras was not selected to the All-Star Weekend, but the league is making him a special guest for this event, and he's not the only one. Also on hand will be goaltender Manon Rheaume and actor Wyatt Russell, a former professional hockey player. Rheaume was the first woman to play in the NHL when she suited up for 2 preseason games with Tampa Bay in 1992, also an Olympic silver medalist from the 98 games. Russell, the son of actor Kurt Russell and actress Goldie Hawn, appeared in the net for several minor league minor league action, minor league squads over the years, including the Chicago Steel. It requires a minimum of 4 players and 2 goalies. Shooters can start from anywhere in the neutral zone and move throughout the offensive zone, including behind the net. Hence the inclusion of Zegras, master of the Michigan. Each skater gets 2 shot attempts, which will be judged by a panel on a scale of 1 to 10. Shooter with the highest score after 2 rounds wins. Alex DeBrincat of the Chicago Blackhawks, Jack Hughes of the New Jersey Devils, Kirill Kaprizov of the Minnesota Wild, Alex Pietrangelo of the hometown Vegas Golden Knights, Trevor Zegras from the Anaheim Ducks, Manon Rhéaume, and Wyatt Russell. And finally, the accuracy shooting. 2 players from each division included with 4 passes. 4 styrofoam targets will be attached to the corners of a net. This is my favorite event. 1 shooter will stand 25 feet from the goal line. Another shooter does the same at the other end. 2 passers will flank each shooter. An alternate sending pucks into the line of the fire. The shooters will attempt to hit all 4 targets as quickly as they can. Whoever gets them all the fastest wins. Lamoureux Davidson will be part of this event too, acting as one of the passers. No one on this season's All-Star rosters has ever won the accuracy shooting challenge. Carolina's Jakob Slavin is the reigning champ from 2020. Star-studded field. I mean, we have Sebastian Aho of the Carolina Hurricanes, Patrice Bergeron. There you go, Bullock. Patrice Bergeron from your Boston Bruins. Rasmus Dahlin of the Buffalo Sabres. Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers. Johnny Gaudreau of the Calgary Flames. Jake Gensel of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Clayton Keller of the Arizona Coyotes. Jonathan Marchessault from the hometown Vegas Golden Knights. And Troy Terry of the Anaheim Ducks. And then the All-Star Game will be on Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock on ABC and ESPN+. And representing the Atlantic Division will be Patrice Bergeron of the Boston Bruins. Andrew Brunette of the Florida Panthers will be the head coach of the Atlantic Division. And he's got Patrice Bergeron of the Boston Bruins, Rasmus Dahlin from the Buffalo Sabres, Dylan Larkin of the Detroit Red Wings, Jonathan Huberdeau, Florida Panthers, Nick Suzuki, Montreal Canadiens.
Great protection.
Couple of injured players, as we all know, with Drake, the video popped up, of course. So, all right. Drake Batherson and Brady Tkachuk of the Ottawa Senators. I think they're both injured or something. I don't know because I see asterisks next to them. Andrei Vasilevsky, Victor Hedman, Steven Stamkos of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Austin Matthews, Jack Campbell of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Tkachuk replaced Batherson due to injury. From the Metropolitan Division, the head coach will be Rod Brindamore of the Carolina Hurricanes. And he's got his goalie, Frederick Anderson, along with Sebastian Aho, Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Jack Hughes of the New Jersey Devils, Adam Pellet of the New York Islanders, Adam Fox of the New York Rangers, Evgeny Kuznetsov of the Washington Capitals, Chris Kreider from the New York Rangers, Jake Gensel of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Claude Giroux, Philadelphia Flyers, Tristan Jarry, Pittsburgh Penguins, Alexander Ovechkin, and Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals. Kuznetsov has replaced Adam Fox due to injury. Tom Wilson replacing Alex Ovechkin due to COVID-19. Central Division will be coached by Jared Bednar of the Colorado Avalanche. And he's got Clayton Keller of the Arizona Coyotes, Alex DeBrincat of the Chicago Blackhawks, Nazem Kadri of the Colorado Avalanche. Nathan McKinnon will be replacing him. Roman Josi of the Nashville Predators will be replacing Nathan McKinnon. Kale McCarr of the Avalanche, Joe Pavelski of the Dallas Stars, Kirill Kaprizov, and Cam Talbot from Minnesota, as well as UC Saros of Nashville, Jordan Kyrou of St. Louis, Kyle Connor from Winnipeg, Josi replacing McKinnon. And for the Pacific Division, the head coach will be Peter DeBoer from the hometown Vegas Golden Knights, with John Gibson and Troy Terry of the Anaheim Ducks, Johnny Gaudreau from the Calgary Flames, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl from Edmonton, Adrian Kemp from the LA Kings, Timo Meyer from San Jose, Jordan Eberle of the Seattle Kraken, Thatcher Demko from the Vancouver Canucks, along with several Golden Knights, Alex Pietrangelo, Mark Stone, Jonathan Marchessault. So that's everything that we need to know when it comes to the NHL All-Star festivities. So I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts it off. So Bullock, after all of that, with the skills competition and the All-Star game, what are your thoughts on this? What's going to be a very exciting NHL All-Star weekend after we didn't have one last year?
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a fun All-Star weekend, like you said, because we didn't have it last year because of COVID, and we had the shortened season. But basically, I'm just looking forward to everything from the competition, especially the hard shot, from everything, and especially with the All-Star game itself. I mean, it's just good to have it back, and yeah, I mean, I basically cannot wait to see how it all boils down starting tomorrow night. So, Lorio, I mean, I'm just so excited to have this back.
You better believe it. I mean, I am too. I mean, I like the skills competition more than the game itself, to be honest with you. It's the same way it's the same way I feel about the NBA when it comes to them, and we'll talk about that in a couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, the skills competition, those two new events. I mean, that's something that I know MF's going to really enjoy. But I like those old school events, especially when they shoot the accuracy. I mean, that was my favorite event, and that's the one that I'm looking forward to. And I mean, I'm looking forward to the event where our guy Kreider is going to be in it. So that's going to be great. And the game itself, I mean, I know Bullock's going to be rooting for the Atlantic Division because that's where his Boston Bruins resides. MF and I, of course, will be rooting for the Metropolitan Division because that's where our team is, the New York Rangers, who's definitely one of the favorites this year. No question about that. I mean, I'm very encouraged by our very good start. I mean, 30-13-4 at the break. I mean, I'm very pleased with that. We'd be in the playoffs right now if the season ended. So, and I think this is the best team we've had in a long time, and this could be the team that could get us on a cup run. But anywho, very much looking forward to having it all back, and especially doing the game. And you know, it's gonna be so great. And I mean, I don't know what else there is for me to say except I'm gonna throw it to the Gary Thorne to my Bill Clement, the Doc to my Enzo, and that's MF. So Doc, what are you looking forward to when it comes to tomorrow and Saturday?
Well, this is very interesting because of the fact that I think we didn't think this was actually going to happen. I think a few months ago we were almost convinced that we were going to be dealing with the Olympic Games, and more importantly, that the NHL was going to shut down for 2 weeks. But then we found out no, that's not happening, and that this was going to actually happen because of the COVID restrictions and everything else. And to know that now we're getting the All-Star weekend, we're very excited, obviously. I love the fastest skater. I love that match race that they do each time out. I think that's going to be one of the highlights. Of course, seeing these guys shooting the puck from the world famous fountain at the Bellagio in Vegas, I think that's going to be real interesting. That's awesome. That's almost like what happened a couple of years ago. Remember when they had that competition? I think it was in St. Louis, if I remember correctly, where they had like that archway over the top and in the arena. I thought that was really awesome. So to see that, and this new event with the blackjack, I'm kind of wondering how this is going to look. I'm very intrigued to see how this plays out. So no, I think there's always that. Of course, the hardest shot is always good. The accuracy, Anthony, you always talk about that as a highlight. And then I like to see the one-on-one shootout, the streak for the goalies. How many can they stop before they have to call it? So I remember there was a year, I believe Henrik Lundqvist actually won one of these competitions one year. It's going to be really interesting to say. And then obviously the game on Saturday is always fun. So it gives us a little something to do, Anthony. So we're heading out to Vegas as a matter of fact, after this show's done tonight, we got to get out of here to make our way out to T-Mobile to get ready for the All-Star weekend. So really nothing more to say, and it's yours.
Yeah, that's how we would do it if that's how it is. So but yeah, looking forward to all that. So next up, we got the double main event here. Try to go as quickly as we can. NFL Conference Championship weekends. We go back to the NFL. I mean, it followed up the divisionals I mean, the divisionals were unbelievable. We all know that. But in the AFC Championship game, the Cincinnati Bengals shocked the world. They knocked off the odds-on favorite Kansas City Chiefs 27-24 in overtime on a field goal by Evan McPherson to send the Bengals to their first Super Bowl in 33 years. What a story. And then on the other side of the ledger, the Los Angeles Rams defeating the San Francisco 49ers to advance to the Super Bowl for the second time in 4 years. What an amazing game that turned out to be. 20-17 was the final in that one. And the photo came out today. Michael Bullock beat me to it. I had found it, but Bullock got to it before I could, and he shared it with us on the chat. And the Super Bowl field is all set at SoFi Stadium. The Bengals end zone, the Rams end zone. It's done. It looks beautiful. We cannot wait. We're planning on doing something. We don't know what it will be at this time, but we will be doing something, and I cannot wait because we couldn't do it last year. Not just because of COVID, but also Mother Nature had a hand in that as well, because we got hit with a decent snowstorm last year. Not quite a blizzard, but a snowstorm nonetheless. So put the kibosh on all that last year. Hopefully everything will be, knock on wood, everything will be fine this time around. No blizzard or no serious COVID concerns, and we can do what we did a couple years ago. So, but anyways. Very exciting to think about here because it's the battle of 4 seeds. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals were the number 4 seed in the AFC. The Rams were the 4 seed in the NFC. So, very interesting matchup. I don't know too many people who had this as their Super Bowl matchup. I think a lot of people had Tampa and Kansas City. Maybe I could throw in a Buffalo and Green Bay, perhaps. I mean, a Tennessee against Tampa or a Tennessee against Green Bay, but I don't think any of us in our right minds had Cincy and the Rams going at it here. But it's the first ever meeting between these two when it comes to postseason. And I'll be honest with you, even though and for the second year in a row, we're going to see a team be literally the home team, even though the Cincinnati Bengals will technically be the home team in this game. And it is confirmed they will wear their black jerseys. Since he's going to wear their home black jerseys, the Rams will wear their road white jerseys. So, but then again, they've won their white jerseys at home before. So, but anywho, it's going to be a great matchup. I can't wait to see how it goes down. And I mean, absolutely no disrespect to the LA Rams, but I'll be honest with you, I kind of want to see Cincinnati go all the way here. I mean, after not winning a playoff game in over 30 years, 31 years, and after everything that they've been through, and especially after a video of a viral video of an older gentleman who's been a lifelong Bengals fan, I really hope they get it for him. But if the Rams were to win, I would not at all be surprised. But we'll talk about it all next week. The Rams offense against the Bengal defense, the Bengals offense against the Ram defense. X factors, intangibles, coaching, like we would always do when it comes to our preview and, of course, our scoring predictions. So, but it's got the potential to be a great one. I mean, we've been blessed over the last couple of weeks with the divisionals and the conference championships, both being Shakespearean drama classics all the way. So, very much looking forward to it. It's a very fresh matchup. You know how much I love fresh matchups, and may the best team win, even though, to be honest with you, my heart is rooting for Cincinnati, honestly. But I would not at all be mad if the Rams won either. So not much more to say. MF, the field looks great. And Rams and Bengals, I mean, who had this as their Super Bowl matchup? I know none of us did.
I think we can openly say, honestly, I think we can say that the Rams were definitely one of the teams that could have gotten there, but Cincinnati was nobody had Cincinnati. Rams was definitely there. You had Green Bay, you had Tampa, But I think the Rams were kind of like the third possible choice to get there, even though Arizona looked good at the beginning, but then they fizzled out towards the end. But definitely the Rams were in the top 5 in the NFC. When you talk about Cincinnati, I don't think nobody had them in the AFC, let alone where they are now. I think honestly, I think you could have said Baltimore. You could have said maybe Pittsburgh bounces back. Kansas City, the clear-cut favorite. Um, uh, Indy had a little bit of a look at it. Tennessee definitely. If Derrick Henry was fully healthy, Buffalo. I know some people were saying maybe New England, maybe if they turn it around. But yeah, no, Cincinnati was outside of the top 10. If you think about prediction for who's going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, there was no doubt, there was no way anybody thought Cincinnati was going to make it. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people had Cincinnati, third, maybe last place in their own division, honestly. So, yeah, for Cincinnati to make it, it's a once in a lifetime. I mean, it is a remarkable story and a remarkable run, and what they just did is better than I think anybody expected. If you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, if you told them that this was going to be their season, they'd probably tell you you're nuts. But here they are playing for the Lombardi, and they're going to be playing for the Super Bowl. So excitement, excitement, excitement. Great moment for them. As far as the Rams go, like I said, I think a lot of people believe that they were probably in the top 5. I don't think there was that much of a debate. I think it's just, can they get there? Can they get there? They gave everything up. They blew all their first-round draft picks to get Matthew Stafford. It worked. Then they went and got Odell Beckham Jr. It worked. Then they got a guy like Von Miller. It worked. So they got Aaron Donald. That made it great. They kept Jordan Ramsey. He has been a dividend on that team. So Sean McVay has pushed all the right buttons up to this point. Now he's got to press that final one, and that's get him over the top and win the Super Bowl next Sunday. Will they do it? We'll have to wait and find out. But like we said, we'll give you a full preview next week on this show. Did Bullock lead off, or does he need to speak?
I started, so Bullock.
All right, Bullock, your thoughts. Quick thoughts about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, nobody could have predicted about with these teams. I mean, the Rams, but I don't think anybody could have predicted the Cincinnati Bengals being in it. But, I mean, look at who they had to go through. They had to go through the Raiders, and then they had to go through the number 1 seeded Tennessee Titans, and nobody gave them a chance, and they pulled off the upset. And then in one of the hardest places to play in Kansas City, and they went in there and beat the Chiefs. And this magical run by the Cincinnati Bengals has been something that I certainly have enjoyed. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, and we'll definitely preview it come next week. So, there's nothing more to say. So Florio, sorry I got to do this, but I got to head out now. But I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
And I know you have a lot of great memories of this show over the last 10 years, Bullock. So,
oh yeah, a lot for me to. I mean, it's tough for me to remember a lot from these 10 years that we've done this show.
Yeah, I wanted to get a quick thought from you on
all
that.
All in all, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, especially from the very first episode, of course. The day that I joined in, and then of course, when it comes to strictly sports, of course, the night when the Bruins clinched a trip to the Stanley Cup in 2013.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure the highlight for you was seeing the picture of me going up and down when the Bruins won it.
Yeah, you bouncing around like Tigger. Absolutely.
It's a damn
Oh,
shame
man.
I couldn't join you for that moment, man, because I was preoccupied with some business on my own. But I mean, I actually got to run it back and see that moment the next day, and oh my god, I was laughing so hard.
Hey, and I don't blame you for doing that, Fletch.
You had me rolling, and like I said, that was that was amazing.
Oh, man.
Yep.
All right, take it easy, guys.
All right, Bullock.
Later,
We'll see you
man.
tomorrow. All right. But yeah, I'll share some more on that, on something I did with that in a minute. But MF, 10 years, man. 10 years tonight, 10 years to the day that we did our very first Strictly Sports show on Ustream.tv before moving to the Google Hangouts on YouTube, and then moving to where we are now, where we've been for the last 2.5 or so years, here on StreamYard.com, who have been wonderful hosts for us, and they have done an absolute wonders. I mean, yeah, there have been some issues, here and there, but still, I mean, they've been absolutely wonderful with us. But all I know, MF, is, I mean, this show and the Wrestling Forum, 10 years. I mean, I can't believe it's been 10 years already. I mean,
it seems like it's flown by. It's flown by so fast. And the thing is that a lot of it has to be credited to the fans, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. And that's exactly the point. A lot of the memories that we talk about, look, we can talk about the stories that we've done, the Super Bowl recaps, all these great moments that we've had, like the Bruins winning the Eastern Conference title, or when we had done our Ranger Roundup when the Rangers won the East over the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, we had that. So, I mean, we've had the great success. We were fortunate enough to preview some of the biggest sporting events, like the World Series, like the Super Bowl. We talked about doing drafts. We've done the NBA draft. We do the NFL draft every year. Now we are getting more and more live for all of the stuff. Actually, as a matter of fact, this past year, first time ever, a live broadcast of the reveal of the NCAA bracket. We never did that in our lifetime. So,
thrill.
Huh?
It was a great thrill.
It was a great thrill. So
we can do it again.
Yeah. So obviously we get excited for this. We're all kind of like, we all were like, you know what? This is fun and everything else. And I think that's what it's been, is that we've never really conformed to anything. We've just been like, it's just, at the time, 4 guys just talking about sports. And that's really what it was. Now it's 3 guys talking about sports and doing it like we've always been doing it. We've never changed our style, our attitudes, our anything. Have we gotten at each other's throats? Oh yeah.
May 19th, 2017, anyone?
There's been a few times where we've been at each other's throats, where we had to peel each other off. Not
Power
just
rankings.
that. Huh?
Power rankings.
Power rankings definitely has drawn some where there's been some bloodbaths going on that as well. Yeah. And then even in WWE, especially when we do Wrestling Forum, where maybe somebody disagrees with somebody else's ranking. I know when Michael Bullock did not. I was gonna say, I remember when Michael Bullock did not give a 5-star on the Sasha versus Bayley from the NXT Takeover event, and you jumped on Bullock like, whoa! Yeah, I had to cool you off. I've never seen you that angry, man. You were flipping on that day.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, look, it's a brotherhood. We we're happy. We'll love each other. We'll get at each other's nerves, We'll fight each other. Hey, and there's been times where each one of our butts has been threatened to be thrown into with the checkered apron of Dee Woodson. She's been a godsend. We know that. Ever since she came in, we got a great female voice of the show, and I think that was something that I kind of felt was lacking a little bit. Is that we needed a female perspective. We needed someone that would really help us out, guide us, and sometimes reel us knuckleheads in when we start getting out of line. So I was very grateful that she offered, that she wanted it to do this. I've known her
You've known her forever.
Since 2002. I've known her since 2002. And that was the best decision we ever made, is for her to be a member of this family and be a member of the group. Look, I'm very grateful for everything that had happened. And yeah, so, I mean, like we said, 10 years, man, it's just, it's remarkable. And I cannot believe we made it this far, and we're still continuing with everything going on. So, yeah, I don't think there's really anything more to add. So, Anthony, it's yours, man.
Yeah, and feel free if you want to join in on anything I have to say, MF. I mean,
sure.
When it comes to standout moments on my end, I mean, you talk about the moments where unfortunately there have been some low points. I mean, when that other guy started the show 10 years ago, we used to go into everything. I mean, not just the fun stuff that we do now. Of course, nowadays we focus on the fun stuff. We don't want to focus on any of the noggin diva nonsense off the field, like arrests for like sexual misconduct or DUIs or any of that BS. We don't do that anymore, because quite frankly, I was getting sick and tired of getting into that stuff. And it showed on that May 19th, 2017 edition of this program, that you can go into my archives and see it right out of the box. It was a story about Aaron Hernandez, and we know how that turned out. And to be honest with you, to this day, I still feel very guilty about letting that get as out of hand as it did. I mean, I'm the one who was pretty much responsible for all that, and I'll be honest with you, that day I was a sourpuss that day, because it was a very hot day. I get crazy from the heat. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of the summer heat and humidity whatsoever. It was a very hot day. It was well over 90 degrees that day, and that definitely had an effect on me. And then of course, I said some things I shouldn't have, and MF, oh boy, MF, you came after me. You came after me, cerebral assassin, cerebral viper style. And you remember Michael Bullock, and you and Bullock, you remember Bullock walked off the show, and we thought he was not coming back, but thankfully cooler heads prevailed, and after a few minutes of a cooling period, he came back, and thankfully we went on with the show the rest of the way, and thankfully we have not had anything remotely close to that since, and we're going to make sure nothing like that ever happens again. You have my word on that. And I still feel guilty about that to this day, honestly. But that's one of the few low points of it. That's the only real low point of this show. I mean, yeah, the only one other real low point we had was, the situation that happened a couple weeks ago where, the guy that started this whole thing, the story, go to MF's channel, see that video that he did, and the story. But let's focus more on the positive. I mean, all the great moments. And there's one moment that I'm surprised you didn't mention, MF. What about the night your Atlanta Braves won the World Series? Is that a night you'll never forget?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it was actually wrestling form. It wasn't strictly sports, guys. This was a wrestling form moment.
A special Tuesday show.
Special Tuesday show. And
because the night before we went to the Dunk for Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw.
So we were out.
And that's when it happened. So yeah, going in, I was thinking that maybe it was going to be that Sunday night that we were going to be celebrating, and it looked like it was looking good.
Looking good early.
But it didn't pan out the way we thought.
Nope.
Obviously, we went to Raw the next night, and then that Tuesday, like you said, was the biggest moment of my career. My not only just for me personally as a broadcaster, but even as a fan. I never, ever, ever, ever thought in my wildest dreams that I was ever going to get to commentate and get to call one of my own teams to a world championship. I mean, I did it for you many times with your New York Yankees. I've done it many times for Michael Bullock with his Boston Red Sox.
Indeed.
I haven't done it since 95, but I was wicked young back then.
12 years
And
old.
yeah, we never had a platform like this
No,
way back when.
absolutely not. Back in the AOL days.
Yeah. And I don't even think the AOL would have held the way as it does now. I think the way technology is, and it's getting better and better year in and year out.
Absolutely.
But honest to God, did we ever think that we were going to get to call, or that I was going to get to call an Atlanta Braves World Series championship moment?
I certainly didn't.
No. But for that to happen, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was, I could not believe it. I could not believe that I was so fortunate enough to do it, and I was very blessed for that moment to happen.
Just 3 short months ago.
Yeah.
Feel like it was just yesterday that happened. But that wasn't the only other, live commentary moment that stands out. I mean, we had other live commentary moments. I mean, what about that one year where we actually did some live commentary for the NCAA tournament, and we got to call a buzzer beater?
Yeah.
That was something. And if I'm not mistaken, no, I don't think we did. Or did we? I don't think we were doing the show at the time when Villanova had that magical buzzer beater to beat Carolina.
No, we didn't have that. We did not have that. However,
didn't we
did have the 16-1 moment.
Yes.
It happened.
16-1.
It happened
when Virginia went down.
When Virginia fell, yeah. And
UMBC.
We were on the air when it happened.
Yes, we were. That's right. That's another great live commentary moment. Another one that just came into my mind. Chiefs and Chargers. Hello.
Yes.
That overtime thriller.
Yep.
At SoFi. When Kelsey scored that winning touchdown. I mean, that was another standout. I mean, when we incorporated the live commentary, that was fun for me. I loved when we did the live commentary. It was so great. And of course, not just the live commentary, but Bullock talked about, and MFU obviously also talked about it, the Bruins, the Boston Strong Bruins in 2013 when they pulled off one of the great upsets in Eastern Conference Finals history, when they beat the heavily favored Pittsburgh Penguins. Swept them 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Bullock bounced it around like Tigger, literally.
Yeah.
That other guy screaming at the top of his lungs. Well, not really top of his lungs, but in a high-pitched voice. I mean, and me saying it's over, and then we did the feed me more a la Ryback. I mean, I'll never forget that. And we incorporated the feed me more in quite a few of our moments. MF, you and I even did the feed me more when the Rangers did it the following year.
Yeah, when the Rangers won the East. Yep.
Ranger Roundup, and with the rate that we're going right now, I think it's safe to say that we might be bringing back the Ranger Roundup.
And I think the Bulls corner might be coming back very soon as well because of what Chicago's doing right now. They're looking really good. Yeah.
This is the best they've been in a long time. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe come this spring, maybe we might get the return of the New York Rangers roundup and the Chicago Bulls corner. I mean, recapping the playoff games. That was another thing that we did that stands out to me. I mean, especially the Ranger roundup. I mean, especially those two magical years, 2014 and 2015. I mean, we had great moments during both, but 2014 obviously more special because we got to the finals, but unfortunately it didn't. The outcome didn't go the way we wanted, but you know.
And then of course that was also the same year where me and Michael Bullock actually broke away from you for a moment, and we had the Bruins. We were on the ice with the Bruins and talking about their run to the Stanley Cup playoffs a couple of times when they got there. So I mean,
the Bruin beat.
Yeah, the Bruin beat, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I think it's just whenever we get these type of moments, and that's exactly what it is that we really focus on the great moments. And I think honestly, I got very hopeful that we're going to be very busy during this summer, especially with the playoffs. It looks like we're going to get a Bulls corner. The Ranger roundup might be coming back. It definitely looks like it's coming back as of now. There's still a lot of hockey to play. But as of now, it looks really good that we might be able to get everything back very soon. Bruins beat might be coming back soon. We'll see if Bullock's interested in doing something with the Celtics. If they get there, maybe we might be busy with that as well. So, I mean, there's a lot going on that we might have a lot of future content, and this might be something to really kind of sink our teeth into, because just in case if Major League Baseball does not get their act together, we might have something to fall on during this off season. So because everybody knows the main shows that we normally do during this off season once NFL season's done is we do the All-Star weekend, we do the draft, which is the NBA draft, the NFL draft, which is normally in, I believe, in April for the NFL, in I think it's like either May or June for the NBA. June. But then other than that, there's really no other major events. A lot of the times, if there's nothing going on, sometimes we do take some time off. We take about like a month hiatus just to recharge the battery before the college football season starts. Yes. And that's also been one of our biggest events is the college football.
Football Thursday, absolutely.
The Thursday, then we do the NFL. Now, back then it was Friday because of what SmackDown was doing. Because remember, SmackDown was on Thursdays. NFL
went to Tuesday.
And when it went to Tuesday, it made it more interesting for us, because then at that point we can just do Monday, Tuesday, and that was it. But with the introduction of AEW coming in on Wednesday, SmackDown moving back to Fridays on Fox, it really kind of it kind of panicked, because we were like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? Well, since then we were able to navigate right through the fire, and we've done pretty damn well.
Yeah, we've done NFL Saturday, and say what you want about that other guy, but let me tell you about that other guy. I mean, like him or not, this show wouldn't be what it is without him. I mean, he was the one. I know we don't mention him anymore, rightfully so, but in all honesty, we wouldn't be here without him. I mean, he's the reason why we're doing this show. I mean, he's the one who had a vision, like Vince McMahon had a vision about WrestleMania, and look how that turned out. WrestleMania, the biggest event in wrestling, and what is it, 38 now? Unbelievable. And we saw how it worked out for Vinnie Mac and Mania. The other guy who, when he had the vision of doing this show, not just wrestling for him, but strictly sports as well, he had a vision, and that vision has grown exponentially in the last 10 years. I mean, it started with him and me and you, the three of us on Ustream.tv for about 2 months or so. Michael Bullock became a welcome new addition. March of 2012, that's when Bullock joined the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports in that week. I believe it was March 19th, I think was the day Bullock debuted on the forum. And then I think 3 or 4 days later, he debuted on Strictly Sports. And then you, me, and Bullock, we picked that ball up and we ran with it. And the other guy left and he relinquished all of his duties. And he named you as the executive producer, MF. And all I can say is since you became the EP, you have done an absolutely fantastic job. And helping us out, with the content and putting it together. Even though I kind of came up with the docket for this week, based on the stories that have come out. But yeah, I mean, we're a brotherhood, we're a team, and we're family, and we love what we do. And these last 10 years have been an absolute blessing, doing not just Strictly Sports, but also the Wrestling Forum. All those times where we had questionable power rankings, where we would do the what, and also with those Steve Harvey facial expressions. I mean, that was a staple of our show in the early years. And of course, another staple during our Wrestling Forum days was when we used to do the Mimi Jean Okerlund, when we used to post those funny memes. Remember when we used to share the memes?
God, that was so good. I wish they kept it alive.
I know.
Because, man, yeah.
Because there were a couple of standout moments from the meme days, from my end especially. There was one I did with the Big Show, where I talked about hard times with him being bullied by Stephanie McMahon, and then all of the four of us had a big laugh riot out of that. And then I remember about a year or so later, I posted a photo of a dead TNA crowd at a TNA house show saying, "Look at this raucous crowd here for the return of the anonymous Raw general manager." And we all had a major laugh riot out of that. And the meme gene, I mean, that was a lot of fun. We not just memes from my end, but also Bullock had some. I think you had some. And
I think I had like one that had everybody going. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was something about. I think it was the Vicky Guerrero thing or something like that with the Big Show. And I remember there was something like that. And I mean, I had a moment where we all kind of were like dying laughter. So and then obviously the moment where I brought the Michael Fletcher "I can't take it" face with everybody remembers that one.
And there are some others, but also there were times where we had well actually, before I get into another one, you mentioned Dee Dee Woodson. I mean, Dee Dee Woodson has been an absolute blessing. She joined us right around WrestleMania 32. If I'm not mistaken. I think it was right around that time, right around April 2016. I think that's when Dee Dee came on. And we don't see her much nowadays because she has, work commitments and responsibilities beyond her control. And that's more than fine. Absolutely no worries about that. She'll be on when she can be on. And Dee Dee has just been an absolute godsend to our show. Absolutely. I remember we also had Lexi Calloway. Remember when Lexi Calloway was on a couple of shows?
Yeah.
I mean, she was a god. She was just as much of a godsend as Dee Dee was. I mean, she did a great job when she was on. But there are other shows where we had very special guests. Do you remember that one? I think it was at least one show. Do you remember when our dear friend Jimmy Alden joined us?
Yeah, it was when we were previewing the Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, the super fight. The fight that everybody thought it was never going to happen, and it finally did. And I remember that. I remember that day vividly. Of
course.
We did an incredible job setting that fight up. I remember that.
And what about that one Wrestling Forum where another dear friend of ours, what about the time when we had Daniel Luttrell from the UK on our show?
Yeah. That was unique because for him, that was actually harder than I think a lot of people thought. Because remember, his is a 5-hour difference from
Indeed.
us.
Indeed.
So he was literally doing the show at 4 a.m. in the morning in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
is tough.
Very tough.
It's very tough.
But he somehow made it work, and
Yeah.
and it was an absolute blessing to have him on the show with us.
And he's been great because of the fact that, and he's done pretty well for himself since.
Family man. He's a family man, and
Family man now, has a kid. Now
a
engaged.
great filmmaker.
Yeah. He loves the horror genre. You notice he's into those horror movies. So yeah, he's doing really well for himself, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, it was great having him on. It was great having Jimmy Alden on when we did, and of course everybody who's been a part of this show over the last 10 years, and doing the turn, all everything that we've done. I mean, from the NCAA tournament to college football Thursday, NFL Saturday or whatever night, the football feast at Thanksgiving. I mean, those are always fun. I mean, I always enjoy doing the football feast shows. I've also loved what we've done with the NFL schedule release specials. I mean, I've had a blast doing those, and I cannot wait to do that again in a few months when we get ready for the next season. And of course, previewing the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the power rankings. They were fun while they lasted, but then they took up so much time, and we just couldn't do it anymore. But but it was an interesting concept when we first started this show. A lot of times we agreed, other times we disagreed vehemently. Like I said, with the Whoa Watt and the Steve Harvey expressions. I mean, just amazing. And from the Mean Genes and all the funny moments that we've had on this show, all the great live commentary moments we've had on this show, MF celebrating his Duke Blue Devils winning a national championship in 2015, and of course his Bravos winning the World Series back in November.
Actually, that Duke one was not caught on camera though. Unfortunately. That was before. Yeah, that was not on air. Unfortunately, that would have been a great moment because I actually dropped down to my knees and I was, I don't know. Thank God I wasn't on camera when that happened because I was bouncing like Tigger myself, down on two knees, just yelling, yeah.
And some other great moments. We've had a lot of funny moments on this show. I mean, there was a Wrestling Forum show when Dee Dee Woodson admitted that she found the bald-headed blues. Oh my goodness. And Dee Dee Woodson was talking about, the whole Firefly Funhouse match from WrestleMania with all those monkey references. And of course, and Michael Bullock did the Booker T. Tell me you didn't just say that. And
yep, she did.
That was a great moment. And it's been a lot of fun. Yes, there's been some controversy, obviously. Like I said, May 19th, 2017 will forever be etched in our minds. The infamous Aaron Hernandez moment where we all, lost our tempers. And like I said, I'm the one that was pretty much responsible for all of that. And I still feel bad about that to this day. But thankfully, cooler heads prevailed. Bullock did walk off, and we thought he wasn't going to come back. But he said he was done. But then, thankfully, cooler heads prevailed, and Bullock came back. And praise the Lord, everything went off without a hitch since then. And I'll never forget one of our first shows in 2012 when the Rangers lost to New Jersey. I was contemplating leaving the show, but I was contemplating not even doing the show that night. But I decided against it, and I still did the show anyway, even though I was brokenhearted about the Rangers losing to Jersey. But still, I mean, oh man, it's just been so much fun these last 10 years. Strictly Sports, the Wrestling Forum, doing all these great things, all the people that made it possible, and especially you all fans. So thank you all so very much for it. And here's to 10 more years. That's all I'm saying, and many more. So with that will put the bow on this very long edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. MF will have it 11 p.m. tomorrow night. Cerebral Smack Talk. So, Friday night SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and then Monday night Ridiculously Raw on Monday night, Wednesday Night Mayhem on Wednesday, and then this show next week, our preview of Super Bowl 56. You don't want to miss that. So full comprehensive preview. And with that, that will put the bow on it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's Anthony Floyo here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, and of course, Dee Dee Woodson, and everybody who has been on this show, past and present. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night, for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching this very special edition of Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.